This is the continent. Elves and dwarfs live here. But oh no! It's conjunction of the sphere's time. Bridges between time and space open, and in comes humans, magic, and monsters. All these monsters roaming about leads to the creation of witches. Witches are Jedi monster hunters, made when you combine humans with lots of drugs until they get funky eyes. And that's the very basics by the beginning of the books and the introduction of Geralt, our main character. By his time, the continent looks a bit like this, with the northern kingdoms and the imperial might of Nilfgaard in the south. The first two books introduce Geralt, Ciri, and Yenn. Geralt is a famous witcher for curing a princess, slaughtering a gang, and his bro singing all about it. Yennefer is a sorceress and the complicated love interest of Geralt, as they are bound together by a djinn. They forever make up and break up. And Ciri is the princess of Cintra. Before Ciri was even born, Geralt and her are destined to be in each other's lives through an ancient custom called the Law of Surprise. Destiny draws them together, and they begin to care for one another like father and daughter. Ciri's actual father is unknown to her, but it is revealed to us as Emperor Emhyr of Nilfgaard. Emhyr begins his conquest of the world and captures Cintra in the First Nilfgaardian War. Ciri flees and finds Geralt, and they go to his witch school CLAMOUR, whereas an alliance of the northern kingdoms defeats the Nilfgaardians. The First Nilfgaardian War is over, but everyone is still scheming, and it turns out everyone wants a piece of Ciri. Not only due to her birthright as Princess of Cintra, but also due to the belief that she is a child of the Elder Blood. The Elder Blood is magic that Ciri inherited through her genetic heritage. The blood was genetically engineered by the elves over many generations to one day breed a saviour. Emhyr wants Ciri due to her elven blood, to consolidate Cintra, and to impregnate her, which is fucking gross. The northern kingdoms want Ciri to stop Emhyr. This mage Vilgefortz wants Ciri due to her blood. The Scoia'tael, who are non-humans on the continent, want Ciri due to her blood. The Wild Hunts, which are elves from another dimension, want Ciri due to her blood. Basically, anyone with any ambition at all wants Ciri, as they believe in the power in her genes. Meanwhile, Ciri and Geralt are in CLAMOUR. Ciri learns to fight, and a sorceress called Triss Merigold helps with Ciri's magical outbursts, until she can't anymore, and says Yenn would be a better teacher. The three of them go to find Yenn, and Triss has the shits the whole journey. Ciri is dropped off and basically becomes Yenn's daughter. Yenn decides to take Ciri to magic school, but Ciri thinks this idea sucks. She runs off to Geralt, with Yenn chasing after her, and the Wild Hunt attempt to kidnap Ciri for the first time but fail. Yenn, Geralt and Ciri decide to play happy families and go to the upcoming ball. Except the ball is chaos. Anyone who's important is there, and there are plots at the wazoo as the Second Nilfgaardian War looms. But Ciri enters a trance and says, "Y'all idiots, the Second Nilfgaardian War has already started." A Nilfgaardian force then invade the school, with fireballs going everywhere. Geralt breaks this guy's leg, so this guy breaks Geralt's leg. Cahir, who's a Nilfgaardian, tries to capture Ciri, but she goes through a portal and vanishes to the desert. Ciri wanders the desert for a bit and meets a group called the Rats. Whereas elsewhere, Geralt recovers with Dandelion, and Yenn is transformed into a statue. Nilfgaard invades and parade around a fake Ciri. Geralt and Dandelion learns about fake Ciri, so leave to rescue her. They meet and befriend Milva and Zoltan Shivet. Cahir, the Nilfgaardian, follows them, as he's a bit obsessed with Ciri by this point and feels bad about chasing her. The group then meets the awesome vampire Regis, and they become a Hansa. Cahir and Geralt dream about the real Ciri, believing that the one in Nilfgaard therefore must be a fake. They set course to Toussaint. In the meantime, the Lodge of Sorceresses is formed. Being women only, sorcerers from all over the world team up. They believe their magic makes them best placed to rule, and the world would do best under one single magical ruler. A queen bee, so to say. You guessed it, they want Ciri too. Yenn is humaned again after being a statue, but she turns down the lodge and instead goes off after Vilgefortz, as she believes he's the key to finding Ciri. Nilfgaard still want to find the real Ciri, so they send for a bounty hunter called Bonhart, who finds and slaughters the rats. This Nilfgaardian wants Ciri alive, whereas this Nilfgaardian wants Ciri dead. Bonhart says nah, and makes Ciri a gladiator instead. These evil goons meet to discuss what to do with Ciri. Despite Skellen giving her that gnarly facial scar, she flees through another portal. Meanwhile, the Hansa reach Toussaint, but are no clearer on where Ciri is. Tired, they decide to winter there and befriend a Ciri lookalike and add her to the Hansa. Yenn goes to Skellig to track down Villefort, but ends up getting captured by him. Ciri's portal took her to the world of the elves. Here she meets Avallac'h, who tells her she must have a baby with the King Elf to save the world from the Ice Age. Thankfully, this doesn't happen. Along comes Eredin, commander of the Wild Hunt, who is fed up with his Elf King, so he kills him. Ciri portal flees once again. The Hansa are still in Toussaint without any leads, until Geralt overhears where Villefort's location is and how he is using an imprisoned Yenn to bait Ciri to him. Whilst everyone makes their way to Villefort's hideout, there is a huge battle which Nilfgaard loses, and therefore ending the Second Nilfgaardian War. Ciri arrives first at the hideout and offers to trade places with Yenn. Villefort says nah. But then the Hansa arrive and there is a big fight. Milva dies, the Ciri lookalike dies, Bonhart kills Cahir, and Ciri kills Bonhart. Villefort kills the vampire Regis, and Geralt kills Villefort. After all that chaos, Emir rocks up and tries to tie loose ends by telling Yenn and Geralt to KYS. Ciri cries, so Emir changes his mind, and Ciri, Yenn and Geralt all leave together. Flash forward, the three are in Rivia, but a pogrom flares up against non-humans in which Geralt gets killed. Yenn, trying to save him with her magic, also dies due to exhaustion. Or do they? It's kind of left open-ended. Ciri takes them away via portal to the Isle of Avalon. Ciri then vanishes. And here the books end and the games begin. Geralt and Yenn spend the next 5 years together in their happy place, but Ciri is still a wanted little lady, especially by the Wild Hunt. So the Wild Hunt steal Yenn to bait Ciri once again. Geralt hunts the hunt back to the continent and teams up with a witcher called Letho. Geralt offers himself in place of Yenn, to which Eredin accepts, and Letho takes a weakened Yenn to Nilfgaard. Ciri finds out that Geralt is with the Wild Hunt, so portals to him, grabs him, and teleports away. Here starts the story of The Witcher 1. Geralt is dropped off in the woods around Kaer Morhen and saved by his Witcher friends. Ciri portals away to keep the Wild Hunt chasing her and not the Witchers. Geralt has big amnesia, which friend of Yennefer, Triss Merigold, gets the hots for.
Triss, stop thinking with your vagina.
A group called Salamandra then attack Kaer Morhen, led by a nerd called the Professor and a mage called Azar Javid. They steal grow your own Witcher drugs. Geralt and Triss head to Vizima to search for the mage and the nerd. They meet and look after a boy called Alvin until he also portals away. Geralt learns about Salamandra and also deals with conflicts between the Scoia'tael and humans. He kills the nerd, catches up with friends, and heavily mingles. Conflicts between Scoia'tael and humans turn into riots. Geralt finds and kills the mage and learns that a person called Jack de Aldersberg was behind everything. Geralt goes off to fight Jax, who portals them to a world that has been destroyed by a white frost. Geralt kills him, who turns out to be a grown-up Alvin, and is warned the white frost will claim all worlds. The riots are quelled, and King Foltest thanks Geralt for his help. Before leaving, Geralt stops an assassination attempt on the king, and finds out the dead assassin is actually another Witcher. Geralt and Triss are now dating and remain as advisors to King Foltest. However, Geralt's memory is starting to come back. During a battle, Geralt witnesses Letho, who he doesn't remember, assassinate King Foltest and flee with a group of Scoia'tael. Geralt is arrested for this murder, but upon interrogation by cop Vernon Roach, is released if he swears to track down Letho. Geralt tracks Letho across the continent, bumping into friends and sorceresses like Sila de Tanseville and Philippa Eilhart. Letho kidnaps Triss, Philippa gets mind control over a dragon, and this dwarf witnesses his favourite type of magic.
Lesbomancy.
A summit is called in Loch Moyne, with rulers from the northern kingdoms and delegates from Nilfgaard present. Letho, Triss and Geralt all end up there, with Geralt's memory basically back. Philippa gets blinded by King Radovid, so sets loose the dragon she controls on everyone. At the end, only Letho, Triss and Geralt remain, where you can fight or have a chat. Letho explains that Emir asked him to kill the kings and blame the magic users for their death. Letho was to sow chaos and create the conditions for the Third Nilfgaardian War. Letho also mentions that he left Yennefer in Nilfgaard. Triss and Geralt officially break up, with Geralt angry Triss kept the memory of Yenn and Ciri secret from him. And that's where Game 2 ends, with the third invasion of the North by Nilfgaard. Radovid, King of Redania, attacks his ally, the Kingdom of Kedwen. Both sides reach the Pontar River and a stalemate ensues. This is where we find our Witcher Geralt and his mentor Vizimir, searching for the last 6 months for his love, Yennefer.